as promised, as I said to the fans on the Sports Web Sunday, I would go through Mike Evans, all the plays that he went out for a pass. Let's see if he was actually open, what the coverages look like, and things like that. So let's see it. Let's check it out on tape. So, the first plays here, it's Mike's on the outside. He's going to play slot. He's going to play in and out a lot. A lot of these plays are just going to go by pretty quickly, so you can see where the reads were, where Tom Brady was deciding to go to the ball, and seeing where coverages the Saints played. Now, I have to give it to Dennis Allen. Got to give him some big-time props because he mixed up coverages really, really well and disguised where the other bracketed coverage man was coming from to cover Mike Evans. And on the plays that there were single coverage with him and Marshawn Lattimore, the plays weren't that good that they had Mike running. Like when I'm talking about the routes, the route combinations and things like that. So, and then there are some plays where Brady thought the bracketed coverage was coming Mike Evans' way, and he decided to go to somebody else on a shorter route or things like that. So it's a lot of intangibles that happen in this game. There's times where Brady looks Mike's way as like it was on that previous play, and he goes somewhere else with the ball because he knows there's bracketed coverage. Now, none of these receivers were actually helping Mike Evans out either in winning their matchups or getting open to help alleviate some of that pressure off of Mike Evans. So when people think that Brady doesn't like Mike Evans, I don't think that's true at all. I think Brady would love to throw to Mike Evans, but he knows the amount of respect that Mike Evans requires from defenses if they don't cover him properly. Also, the other part is Brady's not known to throw 50-50 balls. He's not known to throw 50-50 balls like Jameis Winston was, in years prior. And that's something Bucs fans become accustomed to now that you have Tom Brady in Tampa Bay now. And that's just something you're just going to have to get out of, unless it's in a goal line situation or a game on the line thing. And we'll get into that game on the line thing where Brady should have threw it to Mike Evans near the 25th clip, of Mike Evans' plays, I believe I got. And he should have went to Mike Evans in the middle of the field where Mike Evans actually got one-on-one with a safety, and Brady could have led the ball. Now, even if Mike Evans had gotten that ball, the game is still over, but the Bucs at least score a touchdown because at the point of what all the clips I have is all meaning, I guess at some point it's still meaningful football, even down 31-0. This is just, I want to show you guys every pass play that Mike was an eligible passer. I did skip out screen passes and I skipped out plays where it was actually just a blocker and things like that. But every clip that you're going to look at here is Mike Evans as available going out for a passer, to catch passes. And it's just a 9-minute clip of 20, a 9-minute clip here of 25 plays or more of Mike Evans. I don't think it's a 30. It's somewhere, right? It's a lot of clips here. You'll check them out. And you guys can slow them down, stop, and pause it. But I wanted to give you guys a shot to look at all of these plays here to see, where the disconnect is, where, the problems lie, with the team and stuff like that. So it's I have to, like I said, I have to give Dennis Allen credit. He really disguised who would be the other guy cutting off routes, covering Mike Evans extra and things like that. If you look at all these clips, it's a different guy taking away Mike Evans on certain routes, and then there's some routes where they gambled depending on the down and distance. And there will be some plays that you'll see Mike Evans, get a chance where he could get a ball in, but it would be in a situation where Brady would have to throw the ball and wait, and they didn't even have a route call deep enough for Mike Evans to even get the first down on the third down. And the way this offensive line was protecting, Tom Brady didn't really have too much of a chance to even wait for routes to get downfield. Mindful they were in a lot of third and longs in this situation. a lot of these situations in the game. So going forward, the Bucks need to figure out ways to get people open, not just Mike Evans, because if you get all these other guys open, Mike Evans will eventually get his shot in one-on-one and get his chances where you can throw up a ball that he could go get, and as he is a 6'5" receiver. But there's one play in here that I thought Byron Leftwich should have ran more and more this game or something like it. And it was, I think, 2 plays ago at this point, where all the wide receivers cross in the middle of the field and they all pick off each other's defenders. And Mike Evans and Chris Godwin were the one to break out, and I think Antonio Brown was open on the backside on that play. But those were the plays I was talking about in my show, The Winning Angle, where you got to find ways to get creative and get Mike Evans and these guys involved in the game and try to alleviate some of that man coverage and take the pressure off of Tom Brady. So that's just something to look at in the future as far as Byron Leftwich has got to look at, and Bruce Arians got to get creative in ways to find ways to figure this out. And then, like on this play here, it's miscommunication on Tom Brady, or a bad pass as far as what Arians says, a bad pass that went to Antonio Brown that was picked off by the safety. But it's definitely something that they have to look forward and learn from this week, because you're going to have to face another team like the Saints that have a good dominant front defensive line like that, and you're just going to have to figure out ways to figure it out. And if you don't, it's going to be like this, a game in and game out, and it won't be good for the team. The Bucks are 6-3. The world isn't over, but they'll definitely have a chance to redeem themselves here and try to find ways to get people open in situations on that and work on that thing. So the game plan, whatever they had game plan for this game, they got to figure out something better than that, or these guys got to figure out ways to get open and help these other players get open and stuff like that. And it all starts with up front with the offensive line, and from there it's just it can work itself out, because in this game Drew Brees just had an enormous amount of time, and Marshawn Lattimore just got the best of Mike Evans this day, in my opinion. Somebody else might think something else. Even on these goal line plays, just Marshawn Lattimore was a step ahead of him, and he knew where Mike Evans was going before Mike Evans went there. So it's unfortunate that happened. And, the same thing happened with Jameis Winston at quarterback. Marshawn Lattimore tends to get the best of Mike Evans. Marshawn Lattimore tends to match up well against him, as James Bradbury, that used to play with the Panthers all them years. Those guys were specifically drafted to deal with Mike Evans. Antonio Brown did make some great hand catches and things like that, and came out and played well in his short time here in Tampa Bay, but he just hasn't been there long enough and just doesn't have the continuity with the team right away. And the Saints knew that, and they weren't that worried about it, and let Brown make those catches, and they didn't change their game plan at all. So, with that being said, the Bucs going to have to move forward. Byron Leftwich is going to have to learn how to make different coverages, routes, and force people out of their defense and things like that, and just got to figure out creative ways to get players open, because whatever they had going Sunday night against the Saints wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. You left the offense and your offensive line out to dry, and you took a 38-3 beating because of it. And there's the play where he forces the ball up to Rob Gronkowski, and I'll show on this last clip, Mike Evans is wide open coming across the field. Had he trust Mike or saw Mike sooner, Mike Evans is wide open coming across the field with no safety. Protection is awful on this play. But Brady definitely has time that he could have saw Mike Evans and thrown this ball out in front of him and possibly got a big gain or some type of first down. And it just didn't happen. So that's something they got to look for. Tom Brady will look at and make adjustments.